As a leader, few situations are as complex or as important as addressing low performance within your team. Whether it's a missed deadline here or a dip in motivation there, these seemingly small signs can evolve into significant challenges if left unchecked. But how do you address performance issues constructively, ensuring that each step is fair, supportive, and aligned with your team's goals? In this tutorial, we'll take a deep dive into the essentials of managing low performance, from spotting early warning signs to structuring improvement plans. You'll learn how to predict and address low performance before it impacts team morale and discover proven methods to handle persistent cases with professionalism and empathy. We'll also explore essential safeguards, including how to protect yourself from potential backlash and understand the vital role of anti-retaliation policies in upholding an ethical, supportive workplace. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear, actionable framework to turn performance challenges into opportunities for growth. Ready to lead with confidence and transform low performance into constructive progress? Let's dive in. Early low performance doesn't usually appear out of the blue. It often starts with subtle changes that, if caught early, can be addressed in a supportive way. Predicting low performance before it becomes an issue is all about recognizing these shifts and knowing when to step in. Imagine the difference. Instead of reacting after performance has already slipped, you're able to provide guidance and support that may prevent the issue from taking root at all. Let's look at some of the key indicators that can help you detect early signs of low performance, a pattern of unhappiness or low engagement. One of the first signs of potential low performance is a subtle trend of disengagement or low morale. You might notice a team member who was once active in discussions becoming quiet or uninterested, or someone who used to offer ideas now seems withdrawn. These shifts often reflect underlying issues that could eventually affect performance. Practical example. Say you have a team member who no longer contributes ideas during brainstorming sessions. A casual check-in, like, "I noticed you've been quieter in meetings lately. Is there anything on your mind?" can create an opportunity for them to open up, showing that you're there to support. Requesting personal benefits without a focus on development. Another early sign might be when a team member repeatedly asks for benefits, such as a raise, title change, or other perks, without a corresponding commitment to growth or development. This can sometimes signal a disconnect between their current contributions and future aspirations, which could lead to frustration and low engagement. Example approach. If a team member asks for a promotion but hasn't shown consistent growth, try steering the conversation toward development goals. "I see your ambition, and I'd love to support you in working toward that next level. Let's talk about some skills you could develop that would help you grow into this role." Nagging for development without tackling new learning opportunities. Then there's the team member who is vocal about wanting to grow, but isn't taking the initiative to engage with learning opportunities. They might ask for training or development, but when given resources, they don't actively use them. This can reflect a gap between their enthusiasm for the idea of growth and their readiness to commit to the steps involved. Example approach. If someone expresses interest in developing a skill but hasn't pursued resources you've provided, ask, "I know you wanted to work on specific skill. Have you found ways to incorporate that into your current work?" Gently steering them toward action shows that development is a shared responsibility. Inconsistent quality or missed deadlines. Low performance can also appear as missed deadlines or a drop in quality. Sometimes, a team member who has previously been consistent starts delivering work that doesn't meet the same standard or fails to complete tasks on time. This can indicate stress, a skill gap, or even burnout. Example approach. If deadlines are slipping, reach out in a supportive way, like, I noticed a few deadlines have been tough to meet recently. Are there any challenges we could address together to make things smoother? Avoiding feedback or showing low responsiveness. Finally, pay attention to how team members respond to feedback. If someone becomes defensive or avoids engaging in discussions about their work, it could mean they're feeling overwhelmed or are unsure how to improve. This avoidance can sometimes signal a need for additional support or a more hands-on approach. Example approach. Try framing feedback as a joint effort for growth. You might say, let's explore some ways to build on specific area. How do you feel about taking this approach? This lets them know you're not just evaluating their performance, but also invested in helping them succeed. So, you've identified the early signs, had some conversations, and maybe even offered resources to help them along. But what happens when low performance becomes a regular pattern, affecting productivity or team morale? When this happens, it's time to take a more structured, compassionate approach that focuses on both improvement and accountability. Let's walk through the next steps in managing low performance constructively. Clarifying and resetting expectations. The first step is resetting expectations. When performance issues become consistent, team members need clarity on what's required and achievable. Sometimes, low performance continues simply because expectations aren't fully understood. Meet with them to discuss the specific areas where they're falling short. Use clear examples and set measurable, concrete goals that outline what success looks like. Make this a two-way conversation. Invite questions and let them know you're here to support them as they work to meet these expectations. Creating a performance improvement plan, PIP. If resetting expectations doesn't lead to improvement, it may be time to implement a performance improvement plan, or PIP. A PIP provides the structure they need to focus on specific goals, along with a clear timeline to get back on track. Within the PIP, establish clear, achievable objectives and break down the timeline with regular check-ins. These check-ins offer a chance to discuss their progress, address challenges, and provide guidance without judgment. A well-crafted PIP provides both accountability and the support they need to make real progress. Of course, not every PIP works out as planned. Let's consider some scenarios you might encounter and the steps you'll need to take. Evaluating the outcome of a PIP. Sometimes, despite everyone's best efforts, the PIP might yield inconsistent progress, or in some cases, no improvement at all. Here's how to approach different scenarios. If progress is inconsistent, bring HR into the process early on. Their involvement ensures transparency and proper documentation. Together, you can explore options like adjusting the PIP with modified goals or considering a different role within the organization that might better align with their strengths. If there's little to no improvement, when a team member hasn't made any meaningful progress, even with support, it may be necessary to consider further steps, possibly including termination. HR can guide this process to ensure it's done respectfully and in alignment with company policies. Remember, HR involvement is about fairness and transparency, both to the individual and to the organization. Documenting, ensuring fairness, and maintaining ethics. Throughout this process, maintaining a fair and ethical approach is critical. Documenting every step, from feedback sessions to progress updates, demonstrates that the process has been fair and transparent. Documentation isn't only about policy, it's also about showing a commitment to doing what's right. Approach each step with respect and empathy. Remember that privacy is essential in performance discussions. Maintaining confidentiality helps uphold morale and trust within the team. There may also be cases where a different approach is needed, such as considering role reassignment or addressing personal challenges that impact performance. In some cases, it may become clear that the team member's current role isn't the right fit, even if they could excel elsewhere. Reassignment, when possible, can preserve their value to the organization while better aligning with their strengths. Discussing this option openly with HR's input can help create a smooth transition. Other times, personal issues may be contributing to performance challenges. Encourage open communication and, when appropriate, connect them with support resources like employee assistance programs. If they need temporary adjustments to their workload or schedule, document these accommodations with HR to ensure they're both fair and manageable. A balanced approach to low performance. Addressing low performance is about more than resolving immediate issues. It's about setting a standard for constructive, compassionate leadership. By following these steps, you can help team members reach their potential, protect the morale of the team, and foster a culture of growth and accountability. Each step we've covered, from clarifying expectations to managing complex cases, supports both individual growth and team strength. Remember, managing low performance effectively is a journey of empathy, transparency, and commitment to the success of both the individual and the team as a whole. By staying consistent and compassionate, you're setting a positive example and reinforcing a resilient, motivated team. Managing low performance can be challenging, especially when feedback or structured plans like a PIP don't yield the expected results. In these cases, emotions can run high, and it's possible for team members to feel defensive or even retaliate against managers who are guiding them through the improvement process. This makes it essential for managers to protect themselves and the organization by following fair practices and adhering to anti-retaliation policies. In this section, we'll look at practical ways to safeguard yourself from potential backlash and explore how anti-retaliation policies support an ethical, transparent workplace. These steps not only ensure fairness, but also reinforce your credibility as a leader committed to doing what's right. Understanding the anti-retaliation policy. In large organizations, the anti-retaliation policy is a key element in creating a safe, fair, and ethical workplace. The anti-retaliation policy exists to protect employees from adverse actions if they express concerns, report issues, or participate in certain proceedings, such as performance reviews or investigations. This policy is designed to protect the integrity of the workplace, ensuring that all employees feel secure in speaking up without fear of unfair treatment. Protecting yourself from retaliation as a manager. When addressing low performance, it's essential to maintain professionalism and protect yourself from any potential backlash. In some cases, a low performer may respond to constructive feedback or performance management steps, like a PIP, with defensiveness or even attempt to shift blame. As a manager, taking preventive measures can protect both you and the organization from retaliatory actions, ensuring that your actions are transparent, fair, and fully documented. Here are some practical steps to safeguard yourself during this process. Document every interaction. Keep detailed records of every conversation, meeting, and feedback session with the team member. Document any resources you provided, adjustments made to support their improvement, and their responses. This not only shows that you've taken fair and transparent steps, but also helps prevent any misunderstandings. Involve HR early. Involving HR, especially if the situation is ongoing, creates a layer of accountability. HR can guide you on best practices, advise on communication, and ensure that all actions comply with company policies. When HR is part of the process, it reinforces that decisions are not based on personal judgments, but are aligned with organizational standards. Stay objective and professional. When discussing performance, focus on specific, measurable outcomes rather than subjective opinions. Phrasing feedback around observable behaviors, such as missed deadlines or quality issues, helps keep the conversation constructive and minimizes personal friction. Keeping the tone professional and neutral also reinforces that your actions are rooted in improving performance, not in personal judgments. Follow the anti-retaliation policy. Familiarize yourself with your organization's anti-retaliation policy and abide by it strictly. This policy protects both employees and managers by ensuring that no one faces adverse consequences for raising concerns or participating in performance management. Following the policy shows that you're acting in the organization's best interest and safeguards you from any claims of unfair treatment. Here's why the anti-retaliation policy matters, both for you as a manager and for the organization as a whole. Encourages a transparent work environment. When employees feel safe reporting concerns, it fosters a culture of openness and accountability. An anti-retaliation policy reassures team members that their input, even if it involves feedback or grievances, will be respected and won't lead to negative consequences. This transparency supports the organization's goals of continuous improvement and ethical behavior. Protects managers and the organization. For managers, the anti-retaliation policy is a safeguard against claims of unfair treatment or bias. It ensures that all performance-related actions are documented, objective, and follow standard procedures, making it clear that the manager's actions are based on company policy rather than personal motivations. For the organization, this policy minimizes legal risks and protects the company's reputation. Upholds ethical standards. Large organizations uphold strict ethical standards, which include fair treatment for all employees. The anti-retaliation policy reinforces that performance management is a structured, fair process focused on improvement rather than punishment. It promotes trust and fairness, which are essential to an organization's integrity and ethical values. By protecting yourself through documentation, HR involvement, and adherence to the anti-retaliation policy, you not only ensure a fair process for the low performer, but also strengthen your own credibility as a leader. When managers follow these best practices, it becomes clear that their actions are in the organization's best interest, rooted in fairness, and aligned with ethical guidelines. This approach safeguards everyone involved and reinforces a culture of accountability and respect. Thank you everyone for your attention. I hope you can review the learnings in this tutorial and reflect on them. Have a great day and see you soon.